The Empire Boxing Podcast, an Empire Boxing and Unlearning Network production.
Welcome back to the Empire Boxing Podcast. This is episode 3. And this is a special episode because there are 3 of us. I know, right? I'm here with Terrence and Michael Viloria. These boys are not to be trifled with. From the word on the street is they are just fighters. Like, you guys are the fighters, right? Combat sport athletes to the max. This is what I'm hearing on the street about you guys.
Oh, wow.
These boys are from Mendoza Boxing Club. Is it Boxing Club?
Boxing club.
Okay, cool. And are there other disciplines at Mendoza you guys are training?
We do Filipino martial arts, our niece.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Any grappling?
It comes with the umbrella of this.
Oh, okay, we're gonna have to talk about this too. That's very
100%.
interesting. Okay, cool. So, welcome to the Empire Boxing Podcast, guys.
Glad to
Thanks for
be
coming
here.
out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we were talking all about where you guys are from and everything just kind of before we started rolling. Jason was late on the hook there, but that's fine. So let's start there because everyone wants to know where you guys from. When did you come to Canada, and where did the fighting start? Did it start back home or once you came onto our apologetic soil?
You go first.
Man, long story. So, back in the Philippines, our dad was a combat sport fan, right? And he always had the history of martial arts within the family. And so he enrolled us to Taekwondo at first. Didn't like it. I was this fat kid, People would tease me and all that stuff. But when we came here, we took it more seriously because we got bullied in elementary school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so that's when we started competing, and we met our coach, O'Neil Mendoza, who is the founder and the person who runs the gym, Mendoza Boxing Club, hence. And from there we competed in kickboxing, in arnis, in forms, karate, taekwondo, kind of point sparring, and then eventually we got into more hands because at the end of the day, we rely on these, right? We don't kick in the streets. We don't kick high. We don't do spinning shit like that.
Right. I was just imagining. No, yeah, you can.
say
I
that?
was just imagining some little elementary school kid like messing with you and just getting like head kicked or something.
Honestly, the first elementary school fight I had, I remember someone was kicking stones at him.
Oh, yeah.
So I just grabbed a bunch of pebbles and I just threw it at him.
Right.
I just started throwing at him, and the funny thing is that I didn't even get in trouble.
So you used his weapon against him. This is perfect.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, amazing. So he did not get head kicked.
No.
All right.
The kid that head kicks in the family is my little brother, Angelo. He's been... Hey, buddy, if you're watching this, I'm about to spill some beans.
That's okay. He's definitely going to be watching this.
Yeah.
So don't hold back. Don't hold back.
So yeah, he's super young, right? And I remember I was in high school already. He's like 10 years younger than me. So he's grade 2, grade 3 at this point. And I keep hearing from my mom, like, hey, Angelo got suspended again. I'm like, why? And apparently the kids are trying to bully him. Trying to is the main
Right.
thing.
He
And
was just laying out
he
fifth
was
graders.
kicking him, like, right in the neck. I'm like, buddy. But yeah, like, basically, going by what Terrence said, in the Philippines, we started with Taekwondo. Because, again, like, we were young. We didn't really take it seriously. We just wanted to play. Got into a few tournaments. And I got bronze medal at one point because, and I remember this very clearly, and this is why I know I like
Your brother's already laughing.
boxing.
This is going to be a
Yeah.
good story.
Because we were straight up just going through our match, and the kid kept low kicking me right in the groin, and I was getting angry. The referee wasn't doing anything.
Little
So
bastard.
what I did was I literally, in between the breaks, I went in and grabbed him by the headgear, took his headgear off, and I just gave him a good 2-piece. Pop, pop. I got disqualified for it. You're not
Right.
supposed to punch in Taekwondo, right?
Right. So he can kick you in questionable areas.
Yeah.
But you can't react questionably. Got it.
Yeah. So after that, and then and you know what? Throughout our fighting career, anyways, we kicked, yes, but we used it to kind of like bail ourselves out. Most of the time, it was our hands that did the trick.
Right.
And so our coach was like, "Hey, you guys just want to do boxing?"
So boxing chose you guys.
I
And
think
you didn't
so.
choose boxing. It chose you.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, cool.
Yeah. You know what? And my dad had me watch Rocky.
Yeah.
You know,
As any good
as
father,
any good father
would do for their sons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He bought me my first pair of gloves. I remember that. I was like 6 years old. Put it in my hands, and he's like, "Just punch me." And then
Yeah.
I was like laying it on my dad, and I was having so much fun. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
You're like, this is life.
this
I'm
is
living.
awesome.
Amazing. Now, how many siblings y'all got?
Well, I have him,
Okay.
Angelo, who's also a amateur boxer.
Was that the one you were just telling the story about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I keep an eye out on him. He's good.
Okay.
And provincial champion.
Okay.
And my little sister Samantha, who has nothing to do with boxing.
Okay. Right.
Everything to
right.
do with cooking.
Really?
And food. She's amazing.
So okay, great. So she's like on the food prep for the fight camps and stuff.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
I wish.
on
She's
the
like,
cheat
I'm not
days.
cooking for you guys. Okay. Cool. So, is she athletic as well? Or
Yes, she is.
Okay, so she plays other sports.
Yeah, but she just chose to be more of the bookworm and the
Right.
kitchen.
Yeah.
That's her thing.
She's like a mental creative athlete.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So your other brother, you guys kind of the sport fanatics.
Yes.
Did it just flow? Did that just come? Like, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to use my body.
Not in the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, like we were saying, like all throughout our childhood and throughout my teenage years, actually, I was obese. I weighed
Really?
285 pounds.
No way.
285 at 5'6".
Okay, what are you now?
I'm 156 this morning. Wow. I was 285.
Respect.
Like ridiculous. I competed at 285 when I was 13 years old, all the way till I was 18, 19.
Unreal.
Yeah.
And at that time, were you like, did it register that was something that you
No.
wanted to change? It was just, this was life. This was me. I was involved in what I was involved in.
I
Or
loved food too much.
Yeah.
You know, like every
I
time you
mean-
win, you lose, or whatever. Like I wanted to eat. I loved food.
yeah,
That was it.
yeah.
And it didn't start bothering me until I graduated, and I'm like, man. Everybody else in high school had something they were good at, and something that was kind of like their niche, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't have anything. I didn't know until I was like, I'm decent at this, at fighting. I was training the whole time. It's just I never took it seriously, really, you know. And I just relied really on just my natural talent. Didn't train as hard as I should have been training. And then I spoke to my coach's wife, who's also she does the meal prep for us. Yeah. So
Alright,
she
alright.
goes, so she says, and I told her, like, I think I'm going to take this a little bit seriously now. And I want to change my life.
We're going in.
Yeah. I want to go in like full. And yeah, so it took me about 6-7 months to get down to 160
Wow.
from 285.
And was your experience sort of similar? You were saying,
Well, to me, it was like I didn't have that natural talent, so I had to really work. So when I was like 13, 14 years old, I would like watch Mike Tyson training montage, and I'm so
as
inspired
any
by
good
that.
13-year-old would do.
Yeah, I'm like, I want to knock people out. And I've been watching his highlights and all that stuff, right, on YouTube. And I would even try to copy his training routine. Like, I would go out for a run at 14, 3 a.m. in the morning, right? I try to be that disciplined person. I was always that hardworking dude. Yeah, I just loved competing, right? I love that violence. I love that it's a combat sport, and that's what I like to do. And it's individual. It's an individual sport where you can't blame anyone but yourself if you lost. And that's something that clicked. I don't know if that chose me or I chose to do this, but I just love that that aspect of combat sports where you work hard for it, and then it may reward you, but at the same time, it may break your heart. Right? And I love that. I love that gamble. I like
That's
that
a good
risk.
nugget. That's
Yeah.
a good nugget right there. That's one for the highlight reel, Jason. That was
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
nugget.
for real. And he's always been like that, eh? Like when we
Like
were
he's
kids.
got lots of good nuggets. Or-
Yeah.
I can't wait. Save him up. Save him up. We got another 45 minutes. Save him up.
But he's always been like that. He's always super competitive. Like when we were sparring as kids, even when in our Taekwondo days, and I would lick him,
Oh, yeah.
and he would come home and he'd be like, "Let's do it again." we would finish training and everything. We'd come home in our like home clothes, nothing. He's like, "Let's do it again."
Yeah.
He hated losing. And throughout our years, every time coach would put us in sparring, it's the exact same thing. And then eventually, to this day, right? To this day, when
That was
he,
my next question. I'm like,
Yeah.
and
Oh
to
my
this
God,
day.
to this day, we were just sparring like Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah,
we
Saturday.
spar
We had
yeah.
we had a heavy sparring session, And it's one of those things where a 3-minute round flies by so quick because you're so engaged. And it's one of those, it's like we get so competitive, we get so into it, even though we know each other so well. So we start to kind of like experiment a little bit, trying to compete with each
Cool,
other
okay.
to this day.
So do you find, because often when you get the same sort of sparring looks over and over, it loses a bit of its competitive edge. So do you guys go away separately and kind of like think about what new elements or what elements you're going to bring into the next session? Are you trying to surprise each other?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Exactly.
because you kind of keep it fresh a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I would think too, and there's things that I know he's going to do. And then that entire round, he won't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, crap, he's going to do it
And you
next
love
round.
that.
Oh yeah,
You're sitting there loving
that's-
that.
That's when I know, like, okay, maybe I got him this round. Maybe I got him this round.
Right. So, okay. So what, and Terrence, I'll ask you first, what are the things that Michael brings into sparring that are the most challenging for you, aka the most useful for you in your development?
Oh man, just the pressure is something else. Like I've sparred with pros in Japan, and the pressure is just different from my brother. Like if anyone can take his pressure, I think you can take anyone's pressure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And the jab's his jab and the way he just pressures you, relentless.
Okay. Amazing.
Relentless.
And same question for you.
You know what? Terrence has this, and I think everybody in the gym will agree with me. He has this uncanny ability to control range. It's just you can't get close to it. He will keep that exact same range the entire round after round with that same focus and that same intensity. And through that range, he's working. He's not just waiting for you. He's actively devising a plan how to butcher you. And that's how, and there's no other way I can put it, because that's what in my head is he's looking at you like a cut of meat. Like this is how I'm going to cut that one. This is how I'm going to cut that one.
Yeah.
Because it comes out when he hits you.
What's your fight name? The Butcher?
No, apparently I'm called Smooth.
Yeah,
okay.
Coach gave it to him after his first fight.
Okay.
Because, yeah, he was smooth and.
Apparently.
Okay. All
Apparently,
right.
I'm not sure.
So do you have a little bit more of a, like, are you a back foot kind of stick and move? I haven't had the pleasure of watching you guys work yet, which I hope will change extremely soon. So I'm gonna ask you about it. And anyone who's listening who's seen them, you're gonna be like, I know. So are you like a stick and move, back foot? You come forward. Clearly, you're coming forward. You're a pressure fighter, so you're coming forward, angle, coming forward.
Depends on who I'm fighting.
Okay.
And who I'm sparring. If I'm sparring him, I'm a little more cautious with my pressure.
Right. A little
But
respect.
the pressure comes. I think when people think pressure fighter, they immediately think coming forward, right?
Yeah.
And head movement and countering the jab, taking away the jab. But pressure is could be different too.
There can be rhythm upsets.
Yeah, mental pressure,
Interesting.
right? It's the fact that they don't know what's coming next, and using your feet to disguise your hands, or using your intention to disguise what you really want to do, even your eyes, little eye movements, maybe positioning your shoulders a little bit. That to me is what real pressure is.
And for the people out there who haven't, like been on the, in the inside of the ring from the boxing perspective, or maybe don't understand the training or the intricacies and the nuances of the sport, this is massive. There is more than, a few types of ways you can mentally sort of manipulate your opponent to be physically effective.
Exactly.
And that's sort of what you're talking about. It goes beyond even like a jab feint or a foot feint or any kind of pump feint. It's like, where are you looking? Prior, what are you setting them up to believe that you're going to do with your bad
exactly.
intentions?
Yeah,
I
the
got some
feint,
bad.
yeah, the feinting, everything.
Yeah.
So I'm less in my style of pressure fighting. I believe, and is less so physical than more mental pressure.
Interesting.
It's like if you come in on me, I'm still pressuring you. You just don't know it until later on you feel it.
And you can speak to this. You know exactly what that feels like to be on the other side.
Absolutely.
So how do you use the strengths in your style to deal with that type of pressure that keep you so rangy and hard to hit?
Got to use your feet.
Yes, please, coaches, teach more.
Slow feet don't eat, right?
Amazing. Again, another nugget. Thank you.
That's Troy's. That's Troy's quote.
Okay, great. Credit where credit is due. I like it. Okay, cool. So outside of boxing, how do you guys spend your time?
You know what? Together, outside of boxing, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but we talk about boxing.
Amazing. As any good
Like,
boxer should do.
yeah. Or we're sitting at home watching other sports, basketball, football, or whatever. But then all of a sudden the conversation goes back to boxing. It's one of those things where you kind of like open our brains and all you see is a boxing glove.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you agree? That's about
I agree. We'd be watching basketball, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe the playoffs, like just last Sunday. We'd be like, hey, what do you think of that Haney versus Cambosos fight?
Yeah. Okay, so wait. Great segue. I was going to ask you about Tank and
Yeah.
Rolando. Thoughts about
Romero?
this fight? Romero,
Yeah.
excuse me. Yes.
Okay, so basically, everyone knows.
Sit down,
Everyone-
buckle up, tray tables up, seat back in your full upright position.
I'm notorious in social media and in the gym to always pick the underdog.
Oh,
Always.
Yeah.
I think at one point I told you I was going for Beevil,
yes.
right? Which I was a good pick for me, but that's very rare. I'm the type of guy that picked Chavez Jr. when he faced Canelo.
Did you guys have money on this?
We didn't, but
So there's a lesson for you going forward.
yeah, I was like, he's always gonna
Yeah.
choose the underdog.
Yeah.
I love Tank to death, but because Rolando Romero Rolly is the underdog, I want to go Rolly, man.
Okay.
You guys
Okay.
are good.
That blows
And
my
you're
mind.
going Javante.
Of course,
No,
that
me
blows
too.
my mind. That blows my mind.
Okay, so off screen we'll put down some money on this.
Yeah,
one.
100%.
we condone gambling actually. Amazing. Okay, and then let's talk about the Cambosos fight then.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that one? Well,
You go first.
Oh, I want to pick Haney, but it's in Australia. You know what happens in Australia? It's his backyard, and you know what happened to Jeff Horn and Pacquiao. Even if it goes to a decision, I believe that Cambosos might get the nod, right? Just saying, it's in Australia.
I mean, yeah, home court
Yeah,
advantage.
home court
kinda thing.
advantage
It's,
thing,
it's
yeah.
real.
It is.
It is real. What do you think?
I think a lot of people are still riding the Cambosos wave of him beating Teofimo, and I think they're forgetting how good of a boxer
I was like,
Haney
Haney's
is.
different.
Yes,
Haney's different.
Yeah, like people are saying he's got a weak chin when he faced Linares, but people don't take into account Linares is probably one of the hardest hitters at 135.
Oh, he's no schmuck.
No,
He hits hard.
He hits hard. He's a former world champion. He's knocked down Lomachenko, right? He's a very skillful guy, and Haney could have won that fight just with the jab. He chose to go inside against Linares. He chose to bang it out with Linares because he wanted to prove he could bang and box. So I think people are still riding the Cambosos wave, saying that Haney doesn't have the power to hurt Cambosos. But as we all know, hey, everybody can hit down there. You know, in the ring, everybody can hit.
I mean, that entire division is ridiculous.
Yes.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, I love it.
But I mean, George Cambosos is fast.
He is.
He is so fast, which is where I'm kind of with you. I think if it came down to just like a decision, who's going to land more punches, who might get the nod.
Exactly.
know.
And what are the judges looking for? Haney's going to look to box. He's going to be using his feet. He's going to be using his defense, right? He's going to be using the jab. Are they going to count that more so than Cambosos' volume? Right?
Exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah. So interesting. There's some really
Yeah.
good fights coming up, and then we got, of course, Triple G and Canelo.
That was
part
just
trois.
announced
Yeah, in
yesterday,
September.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's buckle up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to you guys. Take us into the day-to-day life. Are you guys at Mendoza dawn till dusk, and
Every
you
single
pour
day.
your lives into this? Yeah. So walk me through. Michael, why don't you go first? What does a typical day in the life of you at Mendoza look like?
Well, I get to the gym, and I say hi to everybody. That's kind of a routine.
30 minutes later, he's done. His hands sore
Yeah.
from fist pumping
I-
everybody.
I throw jokes, I throw shade at everybody, you know. And there's this guy that we train with, and this is an inside joke in the gym. Well, now everybody's gonna be.
Now
in
it's an
on it.
outside inside joke.
This is a guy named Jake,
Mm-hmm.
and he's incredible, right? Like he's really good.
What's up,
but
Jake?
he doesn't want to fight, right? So he doesn't want to do it. He's a sparring partner.
So I know where this is going. Every day.
Every day.
You beg him up. Okay.
I go to him and I'm like, hey Jake, you suck, Jake. Kind of like egg him on, like, hey Jake,
Yeah.
hey, guess what? We signed you up for the fight next weekend. There's a Griffin's card or like there's a Savard's card
Yeah.
coming up.
So this
Eh.
is another level of your pressure
Yeah.
that we're talking about. That mental pressure. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Every day. I bug him, and that's the thing. Like he's one of those guys that just he's comfortable where he's at. He
Yeah.
doesn't want to compete. He's he got everybody ready for the provincial tournament. He's got me ready for my last fight, and
Yeah.
because of him, like we were ready.
Yeah.
He's that good, and so I throw shade at everybody, specifically Jake,
Yes.
and then we start warming up, right? And then basically we train 3 to 4 hours in the gym. That's minus the road work we do in the morning and the shadow boxing and the lighter cardio we do after training. So I would say in a typical day is about 6 hours of work.
Wow. And what does your S&C look like throughout the week?
So we do a lot of boxing related S&C. So everything's 3 minutes. So it doesn't matter if you're doing bar squats, if you're doing deadlifts, or if you're doing whatever it is, like sprints or whatever. Everything's 3 minutes, and we're doing 15 rounds of that.
So it's a little bit more volume like throughout the camp,
Yes.
or does it start, like lower volume, higher weight, and then strips down into speed power kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, and a lot of it is led by our coach's wife. She's kind of like a mad genius in there.
Wicked.
Yeah, she just every day is a little different, and basically we don't know what's gonna happen because she tells us all the time, like, you don't know what your opponent's gonna bring to you. Why should I tell you what you need to do?
Okay, interesting.
Right, so everything changes. Everything, like you name it, ladder drills, sprints, and then after an hour and a half of strength and conditioning, then we do some sparring.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, it's rough, but wouldn't want to change it.
Yeah. And you're matching kind of the similar schedule?
Yeah, man. That just reminds me, man. This Saturday is gonna suck.
Yeah,
Every
Okay,
Saturday sucks.
Please tell us why.
Every Saturday sucks.
Yeah.
So we do all of that conditioning, and then we do the hard sparring on Saturdays, right? And there are times that our coach would get us to do like 10, 12 rounds of sparring after all that, and I'm just cramping here. Man. I'm cramping. My legs are cramping. I'm like, how am I gonna get through this? I'm already cramping during conditioning, so I need to I have to have a whole jug of coconut water with me.
and the way coach likes to do it, and both of them like to do it, is I want to see how you deal with adversity, right? Like like an hour and a half of heavy strength and conditioning, and then 10 to 15 rounds of sparring at 37-degree room temperature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose.
Yes.
I forgot to mention that one.
Yeah. They always it's always heated up there, and what coach says is, and what we believe, and we can speak to this, that ring is hot, right? Like you're right under the lights. It's a hot ring, and I don't think a lot of people take that into account. You lose a lot of water in a fight.
Mm-hmm. And let's just say, I mean, I've yet to see like an outdoor setup in Siberia.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point, right?
Yeah.
So,
It's hot. You got all those body heat on you. You're
although that actually might be, I mean, maybe Empire Boxing
one day
brings first outdoor event to like November, Winnipeg,
Middle of Russia.
Oh man.
outside.
we'll be fighting in parkas. It'd be
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just shovel little. Terrible idea. Okay, cool. So it's hot in there. So you
It's
guys are
hot.
sweating.
Sweat.
Okay, so it probably takes you like a long time to rehydrate after some of these sessions.
Yeah, and then after that, then we do some yoga.
Right. And this is all in one day.
Pretty much every day is like a yoga meditation every single time. It's just every single hard session. Coach gets us to do some yoga and some meditation.
How does that feel to be able to do what you love every day, even if it looks like this? Would you trade it for anything?
I feel blessed. Honestly, I feel blessed. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right.
I mean, blessed with this gift. I wake up, I'm like, oh, thank you, God, for another day. I get to enjoy this.
Yeah.
I get to become better. To be better 1% every day. That's a blessing.
And I mean, it's a hard graft. High level competitive sports where you're trying to do it as it's your career at this point. I mean, this is what it looks like. People see the media hyped up, getting in and out of my Bugatti with my, my fur coat on and stuff, and they see all that, but they don't think about the graft that it took to get there, the hard grind, the resiliency, the adversity, the 37-degree rooms, the pressure and the range, and all these things you're dealing with from different opponents that you're working with. This is what it's actually about. Mm-hmm. These are how the hours are spent to be able to get to the end game, end goal, whatever that looks like. So that's my next question is like, what does I made it look like for you?
Oh, that's tough.
And there's no wrong answer. It could be another Tuesday at Mendoza too.
The end goal, I haven't ever looked that far because I love to compete. I love to fight. And if my body doesn't break down before, maybe like 40, then definitely I would still keep fighting.
Yeah. And any particular like goals in terms of championships or where in the world you'd like to fight or what you're looking
Oh,
for?
Super Saitama Arena.
Okay.
That's where I want to fight. After watching, I don't know, Inoue Donaire, the first fight, I was so motivated. I was so inspired. And that was before, because I saw Inoue during his camp for Donaire. And I saw how hard he trained. And they have an English translator there, too. And I told him, like, hey, good luck with Donaire. Like, watch out for his left hook and all that stuff. And it was like, Super Saitama Arena is like Las Vegas in Japan. That's like the MGM Grand. It's the hottest arena in pretty much, I wouldn't say Asia, but with the Olympics were there too.
For sure.
Yeah, and so that's where I want to at least undercard.
Wicked.
Yeah,
Wicked.
I want to be able to fight there. Maybe
Perfect.
undercard for a championship fight. If I could make it there, then that's
Wicked.
good.
I love it. What does that look like for you? What is the goal? What does I made it look like in this sport?
I want to be world champion.
Hey, nice.
And I don't say that lightly. I know how hard it is to get there. And maybe even harder than I can imagine. But bring it.
Wicked. And with that, let's say, you guys we're there. Let's say the stage is set. We're there. You have a world title that you're fighting for. You're in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
What apart from your physical prowess and your talent and your skill and your hard work ethic as a boxer, what else do you bring? What message do you have? Is there something that you're carrying forward that you'd use it as a platform for? What does that look like, if anything?
For me, it's one step at a time. Yeah, like everything. Your life, boxing, everything. Just one step at a time. You can get there. Whether you're dealing with mental pressure, mental health, which I am, whether you're going through the hardships of life, or maybe planning for something great. One step at a time.
And
Right.
what kind of message do you have that you kind of carry forward with you?
That's definitely, it's almost the same as his, divide and conquer. 'Cause you got to do it one step at a time, one thing at a time, right? Level up one moment at a time.
Wow.
Take it step by step, one moment at a time.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like you want to set these visions and these goals and these intentions, and I think they're crucial. But it's like you can't be looking so far ahead that you miss where your left foot's stepping, where your right foot's going to step next.
You can't take 4 leaps,
Yeah, exactly.
It's one step.
Like for me, right now, nothing is after July 16th. Like for real. Like when you guys announced that date, nothing. I can't see past my life after July 16th.
Yeah.
So it's everything that I'm doing right now is for July 16th. It's like when samurais back in the olden days, they would wear white before they put their armor on, because that was their acceptance of death. I'm going to the battlefield, and by them wearing white, they were ready for a funeral. That's me.
Wicked.
Like I could die that day. That to me, that's where my life ends right now. So everything I'm doing is July 16th.
Yeah, it's it's amazing. I was having this conversation over the weekend with someone too. It's like the mental state pre-war. Let's just call it war. You're going to war when you step in the ring. You're going to war when you're physically going to war. And throughout the decades and generations, like wars look different. In combat sport, it's always been the same, right? Hasta la muerte, to the bitter end, right? But that I was putting myself in the mindset of like, can you imagine being like in your tent, waking up and it's like -4, and you're on the battlefront of like World War I, or like let's date it even back further, and you've got to carry this freaking sword and put your armor on and suit up, knowing that you're going to possibly your end. And it's funny because I don't, like in combat sport, that same mindset, even though the outcome's far less, far less grave, let's say, it's the same mindset.
Yes.
It's the same mindset. There's no difference. You're going into that battle mindset. And I think that possibly getting yourself into that mental state is the difference between people that can take it to a world championship level or like a high level competitive stage and the people who just can't, or like the Jake, he's cool to like go in there and support you and be a talent still and be a skill and put in the hard work ethic. But maybe it's that war mindset that some people don't have. Yeah. What do you think?
Absolutely. I agree with that. And that's what separates the fighters.
And I firmly believe that not all humans are built to have that mindset. That's why not everyone's doing this. Not everyone's in the game. It takes that. Can you put yourself there? Are you physically capable? Are you mentally capable of putting yourself there? A lot of people don't have that.
No.
Exactly.
Right, but it takes all kinds. All kinds. But it's just interesting, that fighter mindset. I mean, like that's the same, just to your point, like, the samurai is heading for battle. That same mindset is carried out throughout different types of war, throughout different centuries, different humans. And I think that's kind of cool, right?
It is.
Right?
It is. It's absolutely, it's I think it is something that you're kind of born with. You can learn it for sure.
But to have that switch, yeah,
there's something to it. It's like what that light switch that when you turn it, you just become a different person.
Yeah, it's there or it's not.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Now, like Terrence, for yourself, was there a particular event or individual in your life that helped you realize that you could flick that switch?
That was my coach.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Coach O'Neill. I remember there was this one training session because I know he wanted me to start knocking out guys, right? And I believe that was like one of the most grueling sessions I've had. He said that, hey, well, I was skipping first. I was warming up, and he's like, okay, today you have to die. Today you have to die. And I'm like, okay.
You're like, sorry, say what?
Am I going to die?
Yeah, pass me that coconut water.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, it was like 3 hours of brutal. I think I had no breaks. When he started taking out the arnis stick, and then he told me to put my hand up, so all the way straight up, started whacking me with it on my abdominals. That was like, there was a certain switch that told me, hey, you're a warrior now.
Mm.
And
time to die.
it's not one of those like things you see on YouTube where they tap them like this. No, Coach is a world champion arnis fighter, and so when he whacks you with a stick, he's going for you.
Right.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
There's some sort
it's
of
MLB.
Yeah, it's that wrist snap.
95-mile-an-hour fastball is you.
Yeah, and he puts
someone does that to me, I'm taking the stick from him. I hit him with it. I hit him back with it.
You hear that, Tariq?
Yeah. Watch yourself.
Yeah. So basically, to his point, that's exactly what it is. It's like, you have to find someone that can get you through that kind of pain, and if it's not you, you better find someone who can, right? And that brought it. It's there. It was there.
Yes.
And then he just brought it out. Right, because when you're going through something so grueling, like a 3-hour session or whatever, or a heavy, even in a fight, right? You better find someone who can finish that fight.
Mm.
If you don't have it, you're gonna die.
Mm.
If you have it, then maybe you'll survive, maybe. But find that person, right?
And your coach was the same for you, I take it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and. I was 13. I was 13 years old. My dad told me.
Formidable years.
Yeah,
get whacked with a stick.
100%. We got into the gym on a Saturday afternoon. No students, nothing. Locks the door. Told me to suit up.
Looking for the exits.
Oh yeah, and this is when my coach was in his prime too, right? I was 13 years old. He puts his headgear on. I put my headgear on, and he beat the living crap out of
Coach, we need to get you on this podcast.
me. Yes, you should. Like that man has some stories.
I might have to just sit a little farther away from him. But if he brings that stick, I'm out. I'm out.
He's he beat the living crap out of me, and I remember, I fought back obviously, right? Because that's when I kind of gained my ability, my credibility, I think, in his eyes. Is that he's a full grown man. I was 13 years old. He's fought all over the world, and this dude was not letting up, right? And I knew from that point, there's no point in me just taking this, right? If I'm going down, I'm going down swinging.
Yeah.
And I was swinging at him, right? Swinging. I was swinging. And I remember, and I went down, right? And then there was a fight. It was like, the minute I went down, I got up, and apparently I was still swinging. And then he took my headgear off, made me face the mirror, and says, "That's a fighter."
And it's funny because there's some new school coaches out there and some administrative person that's just squirming right now
Yeah,
thinking about
100%.
this scene, but that's super old school, right?
Yes,
Like,
he made me look at myself in the mirror with the bruises on my face, my busted lip, my bleeding nose, and said, "That's a fighter. You're gonna be world champion."
so he saw something in you boys before you even really saw it in yourself.
Yeah,
And that day you looked in the mirror was like, that was maybe the day that switch was, you knew you could flip it.
yeah.
Wow.
He saved my life because I had no purpose until he brought out that person that I am now today, the fighter.
Wow. See, this is why on the streets they talk about, like that's the fighters, period.
Street cred.
I don't know what to say, is that they're fighters. I was like, okay. Okay, wow. So many good nuggets here. I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's lighten it up. Okay, fantasy match between Terrence and a boxer from the past. Who would it be? You're matchmaking it. You are, Eddie
Ricardo
Hearn.
Lopez.
Oh, yeah, didn't even have to think.
Ricardo Lopez.
Okay.
Finito Lopez, for those people who don't know him, he's probably my opinion. He's eclipsed by Julio Cesar Chavez and Salvador Sanchez, but I believe Finito Lopez is not just the most skilled boxer ever come out of Mexico, but he's undefeated, and I think he is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. He's trained by Nacho Berenstein, the guy that trained Juan Manuel Marquez. And Finito Lopez has the most educated hands I've ever seen. And the reason why I want him to fight my brother is because they fight the same.
High praises.
Too much information. TMI.
Okay, celebrity. Fantasy matchup. Current boxer versus Terrence.
Nonito Donaire.
Okay.
Yes. I would love to see my brother mix it up with Nonito Donaire.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or Inoue.
All right. Same question back to you. You're the matchmaker. Fantasy matchup from the past.
All right, so I'm Eddie Hearn, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. You're matching
All right,
boxing right now.
Miguel Cotto. Oh man, that would be such a good fight. Oh, you guys have no idea. Oh man, that would be such a good
I
fight.
feel like we need like some kind of like Empire Boxing simulator.
Yeah.
Where we can
For real.
simulate these fights
For
and
real.
you can log in. Did I just like come up with $1 million idea?
That's a great idea.
Or a really expensive idea? Okay. Fantasy matchup, current boxer.
Oh, tough. Today 147, 145.
Hey, make him down 140, 130. I don't care, man.
I'm up. I'm down.
I'll make the weight.
Don't matter. Against I think I would put him up against Tio.
Oh,
Yeah, Tio.
Tio.
you hear that, Tio?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, that would be a good fight.
Brought to you by Empire Boxing Promotions.
That would be an explosive fight, actually. That would be very explosive.
Oh, I like this. Okay. I'm going to keep it at you. What would your fantasy matchup if you could match yourself?
Fantasy matchup. Anybody?
Anybody. History, past, current, whatever.
Man, I want to mix it up with Duran.
Duran.
Yeah. I know that's brave, but
Local.
oh man,
Wicked.
he's so crafty. People don't see it, but he's probably one of the greatest pressure fighter out there. The inside fighting, how much I will learn from getting hit by that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the tricks.
And then you probably end up doing tequila shots with him after, probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. What about yourself?
I'm gonna have to go out on record and say I would love to fight Manny Pacquiao.
Wow. Okay.
100%. Like, yeah, I grew up like idolizing the guy, but man, can you imagine just stepping into the ring with a dude that can throw 1,700 punches in a 12-round fight? I want to know what I can do to stop that 1,700 punches
Right.
from coming at me.
These are the things that keep them up at night. Not one time have I ever thought about fielding off 1,700 punches.
Yeah, right? Like how? Like what would I do
Right. Like
to
what?
stop Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, so let's unpack this. What would the game plan be?
With Manny, you have not only do you have to use your feints, but you have to punch with him. I think, and the way Marquez did it, like Floyd did it. He did a great job, like neutralizing Manny. But I believe with my style, I would be more akin to how Marquez fought Manny. It would be mano a mano, but calculated. You have to punch with Manny, especially in his prime. I'm not talking like a 40-year-old Manny, or a 35-year-old Manny that fought Floyd. I'm talking prime Manny Pacquiao at 130 fighting Manuel Marquez, right? That guy was a hurricane, and yes, a lot of people think when someone's coming at you like that, you got to use your feet, you got to move. He's got faster feet than you could ever imagine, right? So, and Marquez knew that, and I think to fight Manny, you have to take a lot on your forearms, your front forearms, right? You have to disguise your range, you have to change your levels, because Manny punches at different levels. Yes, however, you have to get him when he does his double feint. Manny has a habit of doing a double feint. And we were taught to always attack the feint. So when he starts feinting, you attack him right there. He doesn't know how to defend himself when his feints are being attacked.
This is intellectual boxing. This is academic boxing. Okay.
Yeah, because there's no way you can outgun Manny.
Right.
But what you can do is you can punch with him. And especially when he comes in, he does this double feint with his feet and with his hands, and he comes in for a combination. So when he does the double feint, you attack him right there. You have to beat him to the punch. And angle out.
Interesting.
He's always on his toes. It's great, yes. But because of his bounce, you can time him on that.
Interesting. So you've definitely thought about this.
Yes.
In depth.
I guarantee you he hasn't thought, though, how he would defend Jake Gyllenhaal in Southpaw, which is your favorite boxing movie?
Yeah, I was getting to the boxing movies. So every time we're on this podcast and I have someone new here, I'm like, I asked what your favorite boxing movie is, knowing that I pretty much hate all boxing movies and I have something to say about all of them. And Rhett sat here and was like, I like Southpaw, and I was just like, no. I had to turn it off. I couldn't do it. So anyway, do we have Rockies? Obviously have a soft spot in your childhood. Nostalgia of the Rocky movies. We can't hate the Rocky movies, by the way. I don't hate Rocky. But other than that, any favorite boxing flicks?
What's that one with the Mickey Ward? The fighter? Was it?
Fighter.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all, I think we collectively agreed that one was decent, didn't we? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, Christian Bale playing Mickey Ward's brother, man, that was
Oof, Christian Bale playing anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, can you imagine? Do you believe that he was like 110 pounds in that movie?
I can, because I saw The Machinist and he
Oh
was
my
like
God.
90 pounds in that movie.
And then like a year later, he played Batman at like 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So basically, he can.
He is the guy that cuts weight.
Yeah, he can cut weight.
He's a heavyweight actor.
Whose traps did you like?
Oh, I mean, like I was born in the darkness. What's that?
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, thank you.
Tom
Trap City. In what was it movie? Warrior?
Warrior.
Boy.
I was like, okay. Talk to me.
Yeah, you could put a Hot Wheel on that trap and you just go all the way down.
You just literally blasted my childhood right into Tom Hardy's back. Amazing. And okay, let's now that we're getting silly, what is your like top 3 or 1 or 3 songs on your training playlist right now?
You go first.
Oh man, I think you need to go first because mine's a secret.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. It's a little country music or something. He's afraid to say it. You should be in my presence yourself.
Number 1 would have to be Big Bad Wolf. It's I got it from Errol Spence.
Oh,
Yeah. It's kind of his number one song
sweet.
on his playlist.
I don't know it, so I have to
Yeah.
quickly
Yeah.
look
It's
this
by-
up
it's
after.
Big Bad Wolf by The Heavy.
The Heavy. Okay.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Okay. You're not allowed to have any secrets in this room, so start thinking.
All right.
Number 2, it's Going the Distance from Rocky.
Wicked.
When those horns start blasting, I know it's on.
Right.
Yeah, and I think third one would have to be it's either
I feel like you're about to hit me with a curveball right here. It's like ABBA or something.
I know why he's saying it's a secret because, I know we got like cred apparently that we're like really mean dudes and we're fighters from the streets or whatever, and from the stories of like how we were raised and how badass we are.
Wow.
When at one point we were just fighting out of a garage, right? Like because we didn't have a gym.
As all good fighters should do.
Yeah, and Terrence and I would blast Taylor Swift.
Wow. Curveball. See, I knew it. What did I say? I said he's setting me up for a curveball.
Taylor Swift, yeah.
The bomb is there.
Is this your secret?
Okay, so
No, it's not a secret.
it's not a secret
That's my
anymore.
Not anymore.
So yeah, anything by Taylor Swift,
T Swift.
Harry Styles. His new album's great.
Wow.
His new album's great. Harry Styles.
So wait, back up because I am not in this league anymore. I'm like, I'm starting to sweat. This is the only part of the interview I'm like, okay. Harry Styles, is he the one that did the watermelon sugar
Yeah,
You have the red hair?
something?
he's the guy from One Direction. That's all I know.
Wow, that song just literally cuts me to like the deepest place in me that feels homicidal. Like deep. I said I didn't have the switch. That song, watermelon sugar, makes me like I just want to like Tommy gun. Okay, so not to steal a show, you like H Styles and T Swift.
T Swift, H Styles.
Like in sync too, or
Are you-
what?
yeah,
Hey, NSYNC is
I'm
they're
almost
classic,
better with that.
Classic.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, so who's your 30? You gonna throw me a curveball now?
I like Miles Davis. I like some
Okay.
jazz sometimes. Some jazz. Miles Davis. Anything, 70s, 80s.
Wow, never thought Miles Davis would be like getting you ready for war.
Oh,
but
Miles
here we
Davis
go.
is great.
Yeah.
I mean, if for like a Negroni at home on a Thursday.
Yeah.
But
But
okay.
there are some albums out there like Doo-Bop. Was that Doo-Bop? Ooh.
Yeah, Doo-Bop's the stuff, man.
Yeah, that will get you prepped up and have
Nice
some
and
fancy
loose.
footwork.
Yeah.
So who has control over the Bluetooth speaker at Mendoza?
Coach.
Okay.
And you know what?
Thank God.
Yeah. Wait, okay, the songs he plays though, like it's good stuff. Like he plays 90s hip hop all day,
Coach,
man. All
come
day.
on the show,
90s
Coach.
90s hip hop is
Let's
his
talk
thing.
about Method Man and Ghostface
Yeah.
and Nas. Come on.
Ghostface Killer.
And then and at times he plays and you know what, a lot of his playlist goes to MJ, you know.
Right.
Yeah, because what he likes to say is that you guys need to bop to the beat, and because like your feet, right? Like boxing is dancing.
I was
That's what
going to say, can you guys dance?
You know what? Boxing, yeah. You know what?
Leaning
I
into
can.
that.
He can slow dance.
Like
just
like
a high
junior
school-
high
yeah,
dance?
junior high dance.
Junior high dance. That's what he does.
Yeah.
You know what he says? Boxing is dancing. It's just your partner's trying to take your head off.
Yeah, it's exactly right. When I was training in LA, my coach was Cuban, and all the guys in the gym. There was a lot of different ethnicities, but we had a lot of obviously Latin influence. So it was always like Bottega or like
Nice.
So it was that we were salsa dancing in the ring to warm up.
Yes. See,
Yeah, the
I
whole
love that.
culture around that to me is just amazing. I'm trying to get the guys at Hidden City to like just play music. Apparently, this is a cultural thing that we train in silence, and it's misery. And Coach Alex Martin just yells in silence at us. Yeah, I'm just like, at least give me some T Swift.
Yeah. Shake it off.
I've never
yeah.
said that once, nor will I ever.
Styles.
Yeah, or some H Styles, watermelon sugar. Just fucking, I'm out.
Tommy Gun it.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that's the
exactly.
thing. Like to get us in the zone, you don't need much, man. Like you get us in the building where I'm in the zone, right?
Right.
So it doesn't
It's the
have-
atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's the venue that
Yeah.
creates the
Yeah.
zone. All right, cool. Amazing. So is there anyone in your family that was like, oh no, you want to be a fighter? No, your face, your teeth, your nose. Did you have one of those, or was your family just like right there?
Mom.
Mom. I knew it. I was fishing though.
But my mom's a badass though.
Wow. Tell me
Like-
about mom.
Okay, one story. Okay, we have a lot, but like
We have time.
The most recent one. This happened when during quarantine. She was still kind of like working. No, this was before quarantine. But we already had these racist thing about Asians, right? And so there's one incident in the SkyTrain where this lady was being racist to my mom. my mom waited for her stop in the SkyTrain, right? Like my mom stopped before she got off. Got up and just decked this lady right in the face. Pop! Knocks her out. Then walked
No
out.
Yeah,
way.
she had her
Yeah.
ring on, then boom, out.
Pop mine. Yeah.
Mom.
Yes. No. My
Mom, come on the podcast with Coach.
But she's the one that goes, oh no. In the very beginning, she's like, I can't watch. She's never seen me fight.
Wow. She couldn't watch it.
Nope.
She couldn't watch it.
She went to one of Terrence's fights and she stayed in the dressing room.
Wow.
She couldn't do it.
Oh,
She couldn't do it. She tried.
She's like over at home, like of all the things. Every time I do mom impressions, I kind of go into like Jewish mother of all the things you could be doing, you know. So and she's like they're
Yes.
fighters. What am I gonna do?
Yes.
And then turns around and decks lady on the SkyTrain.
100%.
Legend.
Yeah. And here's the thing that
Respect.
I don't think on July 16th she doesn't have a choice because she works at Grand Villa.
Oh, mom. Okay. Well, make sure when I don't know if we're gonna have time to line this up, but if I'm in the room and mom's in the room, you got to give me the signal.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'll make mom come and watch it ringside with me. Yeah.
Got it
Hey,
like
mom,
that.
let's go. We'll hype her up.
Yep.
Amazing. And how's your other family with your fighting career choice lifestyle?
Dad was a little surprised, I think. He was really surprised because he had to drag us off the bed to get us to training at one point
Right.
when we were kids.
And then
we
next
didn't want
thing
to do
he
it.
knows,
Yeah.
you guys are dragging yourselves.
And he kind of just accepted, like, okay. It took him a while
So this
to
is
accept.
Dad's fault.
Yeah,
Whatever
yes,
happened here.
100%. It is Dad's fault. 100%. He introduced us to fighting, had us watch Bruce Lee movies since we were kids.
Wicked.
But yeah, he was really surprised because Asian parents, they wanted us to become more academic, right? Like, and I graduated double major SFU. The whole time I was fighting.
Just laid that one in there slow.
Yeah, the whole time I was fighting, I would go to the lecture halls with like black eyes, busted lip.
Wicked.
Yeah, 100%. And I would sit right in front.
Nice. And your
Eh.
profs ever give you like do you need the safe word?
There's there are times where I'm
Are
actually
you okay?
like super tired from training, or it was a fight on a Saturday and I had a class on Monday.
Right.
Tired, right? Completely exhausted, not even thinking about the lecture. And I think my profs knew, and they started to buy me coffee.
Amazing.
It's just perks of being a fighter in university.
Yeah. And having professors that understand the power of coffee.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Got possibly the most incredible invention of human.
I went to
existence.
university when laptops were allowed, right? Like now, so that while they were lecturing, I looked like I was taking notes,
Right.
but I was watching fights.
Oh, I was going to say you're on ICQ or MSN Messenger. He's watching fights.
I was watching
Yeah,
fights.
that happened.
Yeah.
That happened
That
too.
happened a lot. Yeah, especially in my subject was computer science, right? So we
Right.
have to have a laptop.
So you guys are academic as well, though.
Yes. So we
So it
basically
wasn't
told
like
that-
you traded one thing for another. You were doing both.
yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But the thing is,
Respect.
we did just enough in the academic world to make them happy.
It's called efficiency.
Yes.
It's called
Right?
efficiency. The bare minimum to be better than everybody else.
And then there were days where he and I don't know how, we didn't even plan this, but we would go to school, right? Taking the SkyTrain up University or University Drive, and then halfway up the mountain, I go, what am I doing? I take the SkyTrain back, go to the gym, and who would I see? Him. And I'd be like, wow, you skipped class today.
You're like, wow, you skipped class today.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Skipping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
Yeah, we come home and
The pun.
how's class? Great.
And mom and dad are oblivious, or they knew and they let it slide.
They
They knew. They always know, don't they?
always
know.
They know.
Yeah.
Especially mom. Because
Especially-
she's looking at your face going, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. I carried you for how many months?
Yeah.
I know your
And
tendencies.
this is what you do to me?
Yeah, no, my brother Angelo's in it, right? And the guy is so okay. Like, Jason would know that kid is ridiculously talented, but he didn't get started until he was like maybe 18, and I had to drag his ass.
Right.
He's
This is a common theme in this family, though. The
Yeah.
whole dragging of the ass into, and then next thing you know, you're.
yeah, because like he
Yeah.
started training when he was 5 years old, and he was until. We have videos of him in competing in tournaments, in kickboxing tournaments and things like that. And he was smoking these guys, training once a week. And he just didn't want to do it. He
Right.
played basketball at a provincial level,
Right.
almost national, but he was too lazy to take it there.
I want whatever you guys have
and-
with the genes going on here.
Man, whatever genes, it all went to him. I swear to God, like it used, and he goes, he had a 3-week camp, not even 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, decided to enter provincials, wins the whole thing, wins best boxer award.
I love decided to enter.
Yeah, he had
meh.
stomach flu the week before.
Alright.
He had a
That's all.
stomach flu, and he was going through like a really bad mental hurdle at school, and then he's like, wins the whole thing.
Wow.
3 fights in 3 days, wins the whole thing.
Okay, well, I think it can just be said. It is known that the Viloria Brothers are not to be fucked with. You guys got it on lock, all of it.
I mean, they could try.
They can. Don't try.
Well, like I think, and again, you guys watch out, man. Like my brother's coming up, and
Well, his mom too.
yeah, and my mom, but Angelo is.
Gotta get her on the.
I need mom
Well,
on the podcast.
And here's the thing, right? Like
Mama bear.
the day that you guys that Daniel sent us the
Daniel.
contract.
No, only his grandmother calls him Daniel.
Yeah, oh,
Now
really?
we're calling him Daniel too.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Dan.
Daniel.
You call him that? Okay, Daniel. Sorry. I'm sorry, Dan.
Don't give him that much credit.
The
I call him
day-
Danny Garcia.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we want to have. I want him to like shave a nice line and and the whole fur coat and everything.
Danny Montana.
Yeah.
Danny Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah, the day he sent us the contract and we printed it out, we're gonna sign it. Angel's like, "Can I turn pro too?"
Sweet.
And then
Sweet.
Coach is like, "Olympics first."
Sweet. Oh man, there's gonna be a whole
But it's
whole
like,
gen.
man, it's like okay. After he won provincial, it's like, now can I turn pro?
Wicked.
Like,
Are you pro
nationals.
as well?
Yeah.
You are as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, we're fighting on the same
Next
card.
one.
which
Same
is
card,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Right.
She didn't know.
I did know. I'm having a moment. That's not whiskey. Okay, so let's talk about the fight card because we're here and it's very important. Fight's July 16th. If you don't know, you should really know, and now you do know. Both of these boys are going to be putting it all online. We're going to war.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
We're going to war. Talk to me about if there's kind of like if you could sum up those bad intentions for that fight. What do you aim to do? What kind of a statement do you want to make on this card? Why don't you go first?
Statement. Well, of course, we always want to get in the knockout.
Okay.
Right? We always want that knockout. But if it doesn't come, so be it.
Right.
I'll showcase my boxing skills, and that's that. All right. I want to perform for the crowd. Really. I want to be an exciting fighter, so that you get more opportunities if you're exciting. I mean, you can box and be boring, but at the same time, you want to be exciting. That's what professional boxing's all about. Be exciting.
My kid. Love it.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Go by what he said. Is exactly that. Like, professional boxing is a little different from amateur, right? Like, it's a lot different because in the pros, now you're entertainer too, right? So you can totally play the safe route and box, and I can do that. We can do that, but watch me take risks, calculated risks, because that's what fighters do. Nothing happens if you don't take a risk.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I mean, the majority of a fan base isn't going to understand the intricacies or the nuances or they're looking for highlight reel moments, and that helps them see some sort of value from the fight that they just, spend money and time to go and see. But it's some of the best fights, if you know boxing or fighting or grappling, whatever it is, are the ones that are sometimes a little bit slower and there's respect being given
Yes.
back and forth, and it's a chess match.
Yes.
And it showcases the technicalities of what actually fighting someone that is a good match for you can be like. Sometimes it isn't the most crazy highlight reel moment after moment, everyone's ass is on the canvas. Those can happen too at a high level, but it's like when you actually understand the chess match before you. But that's not what the crowd wants often, right?
No.
They want a little mixture, right? They want it's almost like you're kind of working with their anticipation. You're building that anticipation for that highlight reel moment. And you're right, there's an entertainment aspect.
Yeah, you're
to
entertained
this.
because in amateur boxing, the people who watch amateur boxing are boxers, so they understand that stuff.
Yeah.
The people who watch professional boxing are not always boxers, right? Because now we're reaching a much wider audience, and
Absolutely.
I understand, and that's part of the business that that has to be understood as well. That this is a job, and I have a job to do, right? This is office work, and everything I'm doing now, and the guy that's in front of me is my job. So I need to do my job, and my job is to win and get him out of the way.
Yeah, I'm just thinking there's so many like great puns with like punch the clock,
Yes, there it is.
right? Or like, right? So many good ones from branding or something.
Punch the clock.
I made Matt snort. It was good. Loved it.
It's not just a sport anymore, you know. It's also
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah, you're gonna clean someone's clock. You're gonna punch the clock. Something else. There's so much there. Yeah, it is. It's the job of, right. Yeah, and there's different elements to that, different expectations of that. But the most important thing is everyone's gonna have their opinions and their expectations. But you guys just gotta go and do what you gotta go do.
Exactly.
You gotta do your work. You gotta fight your fight.
Stay disciplined. That's what it is, right? Like again, going back to the whole job thing. Like you have a job to do, you got to do your job. Okay? Like yes, the crowd could boo, the crowd could go wild, but you got to stay disciplined and do your job. Right? And that to me has always been my mindset, even through my amateur days. It was the same thing. I have a job to do, and this dude in front of me he's in the way.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
yeah. Do you get hyped with the crowd? Is that something you like?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the crowd. I mean, I get energy from the crowd. I love it when I scored a knockout. They're like, "Oh my gosh!" I see like kids covering their eyes. I'm like, "Oh my
People's
goodness."
moms,
Yeah.
the guy's mom. It's like I shouldn't have come. Amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And yourself?
Same.
Yeah.
Especially, and I was saying, especially when the knockout comes or the knockdown
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
It's just, man,
People
yes,
are
this is
going
what I
mental.
wanted, right?
Yeah, I remember we were talking to Rhett and Benit about this too, and it was like, you know, one of the harder parts for them about the last show was absence of an audience, and it almost felt like I was like televised sparring or something. You know, it just missed that little piece of fan energy. Obviously, not a little piece, a huge piece, right? And I'm not even thinking that they're thinking about that, and it wasn't until I was talking to them. So we get the opportunity to have you guys on this show, the next show, with a live audience after probably one of the craziest times we've all been through emotionally, mentally, financially, like sport suffered, everything suffered. We're going to come out July 16th and we are going to like put jaws on the carpet.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
Yes, 100%.
So
And
and we're excited to have you guys, both of you, to showcase your talent, your dedication, your warrior spirit, everything on that card. We couldn't be more thrilled.
it's going to be a fun night.
It's going to be such a fun night.
Thank you for the opportunity too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Subtle ticket plug if you haven't got your tickets yet. What are you doing?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
honestly.
Honestly, have some self-respect.
Have some self-respect.
Right?
That's right.
Yeah, we are gonna Empire Boxing. We're gonna make history with Canadian boxing. Whatever. I'm gonna just throw that one out there. But these two, I'm excited to watch you guys fight. This will be my first time seeing you guys in action, so I'm
That'll be awesome.
thrilled.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks for coming out to
thank
the
you.
Empire Boxing Podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Episode
Thanks for
3 with us 3. Continue watching. We'll be back next time with Mom and Coach. And if he brings that stick, I'm telling you, Matt's going to do the interviews, not me. Thanks for listening to the Empire Boxing Podcast. Terrence, Michael, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah.
Thank you.